All right, so we're diving deep today, and this one's especially for you.
Oh.
Yeah. You know that snippet of a podcast script you sent over about Celtic mythology, gods and heroes and all that?
I do, yes. Packed with fascinating stuff.
Well, get this, we're diving right into it just for
A
you.
deep dive into Celtic myth sounds exciting.
It is. It took me right back. I used to love those myths as a kid.
Mm.
Maybe that's why I'm such a fantasy nerd now. Who knows?
Well, myths have a way of sticking with us, don't they? They tell us about how people saw the world, but they tap into something deeper, something universal.
Absolutely. And speaking of captivating, that script mentioned the Dagda, right? Good God, they called him.
Ah, yes, the Dagda. A powerful figure in Irish mythology.
But he's a bit of a paradox, isn't he? A magical staff that can kill and resurrect, a cauldron that's always full.
Mm.
What's the deal with that?
Well, the Dagda embodies abundance and leadership, but
Yeah.
also this duality, this balance. Take his staff, for example.
Yeah, the one that can bring back the dead.
Exactly, but it's not just about magic. In some myths, it controls the seasons, you see. Life and growth, but also decay, death. It's all connected.
Whoa, so it's not just good versus evil, it's a whole cycle.
Precisely. It's a core concept in Celtic thought, this interconnection of life and death, creation and destruction.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And speaking of powerful figures, we got to talk about the Morrigan.
The Morrigan, ah, yes, she's a force to be reckoned with.
Shape-shifting, a war goddess, always turning into a crow. Pretty intense, right?
Crows hold a special significance in Celtic mythology. They're not just spooky symbols.
Really? I always thought they were like bad omens.
They can be, but they're also seen as messengers, you see. Messengers from the other world.
The other world, like where fairies live.
That's one way to think about it. It's the realm of the Tuatha Dé Danann, the ancient gods of Ireland.
So the Morrigan with the crows, she's like a bridge between worlds.
Exactly. Especially in times of war and conflict, she guides people for better or worse.
And get this, the script even mentions she's a modern-day icon.
Oh, absolutely. Her story resonates with people even today.
Yeah, she's powerful, independent, kind of mysterious, too.
Precisely. She's an archetype that speaks to modern audiences. You see her influence everywhere. Fantasy books, video games. Like, there's a Morrigan character in the Iron Fae series. And even in God of War, she's this mysterious advisor figure.
Wow, so she's gone from ancient myth to video games. That's pretty cool.
It is. Shows how these stories can transcend time and find new meaning.
Absolutely. And you know what else the script mentioned? Game of Thrones.
Ah, yes, a modern epic with some definite Celtic influences.
Right. I mean, were there any specific things that stood out to you as, like, directly inspired by Celtic mythology?
Definitely. The Ironborn, for instance.
The guys who worship the drowned god.
The very same. Their harsh island homeland, their fierce independence, their rituals, those echo certain Celtic tribes and their beliefs.
So George R.R. Martin, he was tapping into that ancient Celtic vibe.
It seems so. Not a direct copy, of course, but the parallels are definitely there.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, we can't forget about Cuchulainn, right? This guy sounds like the original superhero.
Cuchulainn, the Hound of Ulster, a classic warrior hero.
Superhuman strength, battling monsters, the whole package.
He embodies that archetype, the trials, the battles, facing incredible foes, and ultimately the sacrifice for his people.
So there's more to his story than just fighting.
Oh, much more. His story explores duty, honor, the tragic nature of fate. These are themes that resonate with us no matter who we are or where we come from.
So it's not just action, it's about what it means to be a hero.
Exactly. These myths, they entertain us, but they also make us think about the big questions.
Totally. Now, the script also mentioned the Tuatha Dé Danann and Banshees. What's their deal?
Ah, well, the Tuatha Dé Danann, they're the pantheon of ancient Irish gods, often described as a supernatural race.
And they live in the other world, right?
Yes, that realm connected to ours but separate, a place of magic and mystery.
So, like, another dimension.
You could think of it that way. And the Banshees, they're emissaries from that other world.
Oh, right. The wailing women who mean someone's going to die.
That's the folklore. Their mournful cries signal a coming death, adding this sense of melancholy, of fate to the Celtic worldview.
So we've got powerful gods, epic heroes, spooky death omens. Celtic mythology really does have it all, huh?
It does. Adventure, magic, philosophy. It's a rich tapestry of stories and beliefs.
And it still speaks to us today, which is amazing.
It is. These stories, passed down through generations in Ireland and Scotland, they still resonate with people all over the world.
Why do you think that is?
Well, they offer a glimpse into another time and culture, but they also tap into universal human experiences: love, loss, courage, the battle between good and evil, the search for meaning. Maybe that's why they continue to fascinate us. As you explore these myths further, I encourage you to think about which themes speak to you, what resonates with your own experiences and understanding of the world.
That's some great advice. Every time we do one of these deep dives, I'm just amazed at how much depth there is to these stories, how much they still have to teach us.
Me too. Myths aren't just stories, they're reflections of the human spirit, our hopes, our fears, our longing to understand the world around us.
Well said. And to our listener, I hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity about Celtic mythology. There's a whole world of wonder waiting to be discovered, so go out there and explore.
Happy exploring!